welcome to the Systems Lab Live. We are live in the building in effect. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, June 15th, 2022, month 6 of 2022. Can you even believe it? How is everyone doing here? Make sure that you put in the chat, drop where you are from, your name, your location. And then also too, all right, and let me do this really quickly. Drop name, location, and then what are you working on? What are you working on? Okay. This is a question, folks. Drop your name and location and what are you working on this week? Welcome to the Systems Lab Live, where we tune in every single week to have conversations about people, processes, and outcomes when it comes to the future of work, when it comes to tech in the creative space. This is really awesome because we really get into the process and we really get into the nitty gritty of things. And so I love it because we talk about trends, we talk about different apps and tools that are out there and how you could apply it to your brand or business. And we also get into the process and we do demos and all sorts of things. And we have challenges of the week. So, all fun stuff, folks, all fun stuff. So, I had some highlights for today. I had a really great exercise this morning, really good exercise this morning. I was up very, very early. Well, you'll get to know that. I mean, those of you that do know me, I'm always up early, pretty much up, ready to go around 5, have my prayer and devotion time. And then also coupled with that is morning exercise. So about an hour and a half of working out that I do every single morning, plus take the dog out. And then I'm ready to roll in the morning to start my day, to start the second leg of the day. First leg is early in the morning. It's refreshing to be able to take time with God, take time for your mental health, your spiritual health, right? Your prayer life, and then mix it all into the first few hours of the day to get ready to conquer today. So that is a little bit of the system of my morning routine. So I also want to highlight too that I had an opportunity to do a presentation in a community group today, and we talked about the cost of disorganization. And really, the premise of the whole presentation was walking everyone through a series of questions that I get, which is how do I become more organized? How can I build systems? And how do I manage my time better? So we went through each of those parts of the presentation and that was lovely. I loved it. Got some really, really great feedback on it. I have grown leaps and bounds. So I presented new information and new insights. This was like the second time that I presented. And so that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So, um, yeah, that's what's going on, y'all. That's what's going on. I want to get into the an article. Okay, we want to get into the first segment of the show and tell with Ask Ash. And I do want to talk more about the future of work. That is a theme that's been ever present for these past few years, where it's the next wave of the American worker and a different model that is actually taking place. So when we're talking about the model of work and the future of work, it's a bit different. It's a bit different. We're used to going into offices, we're used to the 9 to 5, we're used to all of those types of things. And now we have remote teams and hybrid teams, and we have folks that are really curious about how do I build my team? How do I communicate better? How do I work better? And so that is a conversation that is constantly happening around virtual water coolers, I should say, virtual water coolers. And what is great about this topic of async communication is that it is applicable whether you've been remote for ever or you are recently remote, as in terms of how you go about conducting your business, or you're hybrid. And async communication, even if you are local and maybe you in your organization is, right down the street or 30 minutes away, how can you use asynchronous and synchronous communication? So we're going to talk a little bit about uh, synchronous communication, which happens at the same time, mostly that it happens in a physical environment. So, for instance, if me and another individual were to work in the same office, that it would be synchronous communication. We are meeting physically. We may have a standing meeting of sorts. We email back and forth if there's answers that are needed. I'm telling you what, it's so some of the thoughts that I used to have is that we literally would be sitting at our desk, emailing back and forth, and we would be in the same physical building, right? But now, when we're looking at asynchronous communication, we're really looking at it from the perspective of work gets done at different times and literally time zones. It gets done in different avenues, right? Asynchronous communication is not done, or asynchronous work is not done at the same time. So that's what we're talking about last week, is the difference between synchronous communication and async communication. And I would encourage you to go back to the live stream of last week, part 1 and part 2 of that live stream. Now, what is the let me get the titles for y'all, because I think it's everyday work communication part 1 and part 2. I'm pretty sure. Yep. It's everyday work, mastering communication part 1 and part 2. And we are in part 3 and 4 of that, and we're talking about mastering communication inside of ClickUp. That's what we're talking about this week. So I'm going to talk a bit about why we need more async communication. Now, because teams are remote for the most part, and you also have the workforce that is also saying, I am not returning back to work. Absolutely not. And there's a tension between, can we be productive? Can we be efficient? Can I, as a manager, can I really do this? Not see the people that I've worked with? Like, how long are we going to do this? And so I believe that the question really should be, and I love that someone mentioned this on LinkedIn, but I think the question is, how how can we change our attitude about the way that we work? Our attitude, our systems, our processes, to make people feel more comfortable with working from home. And some people are just not. Some people are just really about that office life. They're about that brick and mortar situation. They're like, this ain't for me. But as we're seeing work life balance, we're seeing, a lot of self care. We're seeing people build their life in these past 2.5 years very differently pre March 2020. Okay. And this aspect of, I don't want to be tied down to my desk. It's not appealing. But the flexibility to have async work that does not have to be done at the same time, to build a schedule that allows you to go to soccer games, that you can go to the grocery store, that you can go and visit family and still work. People are looking for the balance. People are truly looking to build a life that works for them. And so, where we see the tension is, how do we best communicate, and what tools do we use to communicate, so that we can ensure that people are comfortable, that they're productive, that they're efficient. And there are many ways that you can do that. So some reasons that you should embrace asynchronous work, okay, and have a more async forward culture is that it's more equitable. Okay. There's a lot of sameness that goes around, and I'm actually taking some of these points from Trello. Shout out to Trello, project management tool, which is going to be a critical piece of how you go about planning and organizing your async work. Okay. So let's look at this, shall we? It's more equitable because synchronous work assumes sameness, which creates inequalities because people have different preferences and life circumstances. Okay, that's a great point. So, take for example, parents who take on a job in addition to raising their children. Many companies expect employees to work 9 to 5 without considering that they might have kids who need to be dropped off and picked up from school during those hours. Parents with the resources can hire babysitters or opt for after school care. Those without, however, have to figure it out on their own. But with async work, parents are free to craft a schedule around their family's needs. So async work truly creates a more equitable work culture. It allows people the flexibility to create their own schedule. It allows the pressure of having to be chained to a desk. It's more equitable, which I love. Communication becomes more efficient. Okay. When you are in that brick and mortar office building type of world, you have to go to meetings. I remember being in meetings just all day from literally, I get into the morning, I come in from my commute, my train, all those types of things, right? And you just go about your day. You just have meetings. You're meeting, you're meeting, you're meeting. And what I love is that even the transition time from floor to floor, you got stragglers, you got folks that are late, you trying to call people, you trying to email them. And sometimes, for real, you weren't even carrying laptops to meetings. You're just getting that good old pen and paper strapped up, just going to meetings. Some, maybe if you're lucky, you had a cell phone, a work cell, so that you could be able to respond like right away. But communication becomes more efficient because you start getting smarter with your meetings, inviting people that are necessary for the conversation instead of the 15 people that are on the invite. And async communication also, again, reduces that inefficiency of having too many meetings. You can also get status updates more easily, and that you're not relying on those Zoom meetings or Google Meet meetings, whatever it is that you use to just talk about that you updated something. So you're becoming more efficient. I also want to highlight too, async first culture fosters transparency. I think this is really important because team members are not working at the same time. You have to be transparent with your projects and your tasks. Like you can't just hide it. You can't just be like, well, let me hold on to it. Like, let me grab it. Like you can't do that. You need to be transparent so that people know what's going on and that they can literally help you. So two things that are crucial for this: workplace documentation, outlining your processes for how you go about your work. Okay. Processes, policies, how to's, all these types of things. Project management tool, a single place where anyone can log in and see a project's progress, dependencies, and blockers. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Workplace documentation or team documentation. And in fact, I actually speak on this on my podcast. Podcast plug. Come on. It talks about the 5 strategies for improving team performance. And one of the things that I put in there are team agreements. And then also separate from that, which is team SOPs. And I talk about having a project management tool. Team agreements, which basically gets everybody on one accord that says, this is how we're going to work. We have an async culture. This is how we define it. These are the tools that we use. This is how we collaborate. It's an agreement. Documenting the process, SOPs, how-tos, how you going to get it done. The project management tool is going to help shape how people communicate, when people are communicate, how to collaborate. It forces those elements, and you need it. I said this morning at that presentation, I said, can I get some comments from the pen and paper squad? Man, they were lighting up the chat. They said, pen and paper squad in the building. They were so proud. And I said, I challenge you by the end of this year, switch over to a digital tool. Not to knock down the pen and paper squad, but you cannot fully manage a project and manage people with just your pen and paper. I open that for the floor for discussion on that. Okay? Put some comments in on that. I am very, very much a proponent of taking your to-do list and putting it in a digital format, okay, that allows you to see physically with your eyes in a different app what needs to be done. Now, when you go about producing a podcast, when you go about having administrative tasks, having a pen and paper, I believe is going to be slightly not as efficient, I shall say. Can you do it? Sure. Because you could have a Zoom meeting every morning and you can start reading off what needs to be done. You can even type it in the chat, right? Just read from the paper and then go ahead and type it in the chat. But it's not efficient. How cool would it be if you had this already set up in ClickUp and you could just assign your team members tasks? Or they could even assign you some things. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. I just really want us to really embrace the aspect that technology can help leverage processes for us to become more efficient. I want to talk to you all about that. I want to make sure that we come with that understanding. I want to make sure that we do. Special shout out to Steph Byland and Ellen, who are in the building, for Aisha Moore. Very excited that you guys are joining the live stream here tonight. So I just wanted to share that Trello article. I'm going to actually put it in the YouTube comments. I think I can put it in here. I think it'll allow me to. I think it'll just allow me to. blog.trello.com/the future of work is asynchronous. I thought it was a great article. And please let me know if you enjoy these types of insights for the show, because I know I'm liking it. I just want to be able to bring some value to the space, some conversations that are being had that I feel like we just need to know about it. Okay. Next up, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about ClickUp dashboards. Many of you may not know what the ClickUp dashboards are, but we're going to walk through that, ClickUp dashboards. So let's look at the ClickUp dashboards and talk a little bit about it at a definition level so that we can understand what the dashboards are. And then also, too, we're also going to do a create your own dashboard 101 basics. Now, Ellen just said, which I love this comment. I agree. I do use pen and paper for specific days, tasks that I like to see the overall project, but I like to see the overall progress of a project. Wonderful. Like I said, don't get rid of the whole paper and pen, because sometimes people, they feel uncomfortable when the pen and paper is gone. I know I'm 90% digital. I'm 90% digital, folks, which means that even though I have notebooks. I just have to consciously make sure if I'm going to an event, well, definitely take it to church. I'm all about that. I'm all about taking the church sermon notepad. I am. I believe in that. Yeah, take the Bible, take the church, notebook, the pen. I love it through and through, through and through. I can get into it. So yes, but yeah, actually, something very interesting. I did see somebody with an iPad, and they had the what is it, the Apple keyboard. I loved it. It had me geeking out too. I was like, he was just writing all the sermon notes and whatnot, and I felt like, oh, I should do that, but I was like, nah, that's gonna be team too much. Okay, we're gonna get into ClickUp. Okay, we're gonna be sharing my screen so we can kind of know what we're doing. Okay. Oh yes, 15 ClickUp dashboard examples for beginners. Okay, let me scroll up a little bit. ClickUp dashboards are a way to literally, folks, bring all of the data of your project into one space. Sometimes it's just overwhelming seeing all the tasks, right? It's just overwhelming. So, what should you do? Dashboards are a great way for teams to communicate. If you are a leader that also has one-on-ones, you can use that for one-on-one meetings, and we'll look to create those as well. Yeah, so we'll do a couple of dashboard examples, but dashboards in ClickUp, they minimize the noise that you typically see from status reports sent in by direct reports recapping what we already know about the project. And so, yes. Please jump on YouTube. Yes, if you go into the link into my bio, connect with Ask Ash, then you go and you'll see Systems Lab Live. It's like the 5th link down, I believe. And then you go and you jump on. And then make sure you subscribe too. I'd love for you to subscribe as well. Thank you. Okay, this is gonna be exciting. Ellen's gonna join us. Very exciting. Okay, dashboards and ClickUp. Okay, that's what we're doing, folks. We are allowing our leaders as ourselves, right? Folks that may want to have not too many details, but maybe they want to have just enough that they could actually see what the main takeaway is, what's the status, and I love this, add notes to provide missing content. You can also host discussions and team meetings within dashboards. I think that is key. I think that is just so key, folks. So key. So, okay, let me just go in just a little tiny bit, because I'm always big on, can you see? Okay, this is like a perfect size. All right. So what can you create? Just so that you know, ClickUp does have many different types of dashboards examples. And let me make sure, I'm going to look this up really quickly. The pricing for ClickUp, because I want to see the features of it. Let me go and just look that up for you for just a tiny moment. Now, I want to see. Okay, so if you go on the $5 a month unlimited plan, $5 per member per month plan, then you get unlimited dashboards. So that's the plan that you are going to want to get. Yes. Could you go for free? Yes, you could definitely go for free, but it's not going to give you what you need. You only get 5 spaces, 100 lists per space, 400 folders per space. You can definitely, you know, do the free thing, but the problem is that you just start to get limited. Like, you don't have forms. Yeah, it just limits you. Could you use it as like could you do a trial and error? For sure, right? Trial and error. Uh okay. Let me get back to what we're talking about. Okay, so 15 ClickUp dashboards, okay, that you can use. So how many clicks does it take for you to get a metric, get to the metric your audience is looking for? You could look at workload balance, really see like who's working on what. You can scan, right? You get real-time data. Okay, let's get into what you can use it for. One-on-one performances in HR. So you want to have weekly docs, so one-on-one. So you do a custom embed, quick reference links, text block. You can do program reports, a task list, feedback suggestions are in the chat, task progress, workload by status, OKRs, goals, and you can do overtime, bars and charts. So that's really cool. If you're in construction, you can certainly measure some really interesting things on hours by pay period, utilizing the budget. You do like a calculation, project Gantt chart, customer service support. You can, if you have a software tool, you can certainly do it where you might have a ticket via the forms feature. So open tickets by status, the number of new tickets, benchmarks and goals. Let's see what else. Act on performance issues on bugs before the team is flooded with Slack channels. So these are definitely for apps and software development. You can know who's behind, what type of discussions are in the chat, and everything. All right, Ellen's made it. Okay, so that is one thing for development. Event planning. So you do a calendar, progress on each task, total urgent task. So all of these right here are widgets, and then you have metric type. So if you have a calendar, you can do a custom embed of a calendar. If you're looking for the progress on event tasks, you're going to look at the portfolio feature. Progress of each assignee, you're going to do tasks by assignee. Education. Shout out to all the educators. Okay, semester planning. If you are a professor, if you are a teacher, look what you can do. You can embed Google Slides, you can have goals, you can do a text block for course notes, assignments in docs, course progress. So much, people, so much. Budget, finance, so much. Did you know that you can do all this? It's a lot, folks. Personal, task list, priorities, product, quality assurance. I'm just going through something that would make sense. Okay, remote team. Goals, what's been worked on, activity view, custom embed, workload by status, chat, and custom embed. When I show you these widgets, you'll better understand. So I think what I'll do now is let's dive into the wonderful world of ClickUp. I'm going to go back to my example that we had. As you guys can see here, as you guys can see right here, just refresh, folks. Okay, here I am. Do they have me? Okay, great. I'm right here. I was like, ooh. Okay. So anyway, what I was saying is that Aisha Thomas, who is a friend of mine, I developed this leadership course. She does not have a course, but I developed this idea that it would be great if she had a course. So I just put it in ClickUp. I said I probably should tell her about it. I should be like, hey, you should do a course. This is what should happen. See what she says. Okay, so we're gonna get into the dashboards. And I do want you all to see how to create one. What you'll do is you will actually add a dashboard by clicking the plus button. As you click the plus button, see, this is really interesting, folks. It'll say, create a dashboard, get started with a dashboard template, or start from scratch and build your own widgets. So a couple different ways. If you want a simple dashboard, you can click here, a reporting one, or a time tracking dashboard. Now, the key to dashboards is that you have to have the right setup and good information. When I mean good information, meaning you need to have project progress on task updated. You need to have the custom fields the way that you want them to. So if you're going to track time, you need to have that inside of a particular task list. It can't just it can't just evaporate, meaning, sorry, you can't just expect it to be there and it's just not there, right? You have to make sure that you are building out your ClickUp list so that your dashboard will make sense. So basically what I'm trying to say is make it make sense with the dashboards. Okay, make it make all the way sense. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start from scratch. Okay, we're just going to start from scratch and we're going to go through the widgets. Here are the common widgets that are out here. Task list. That is something where you create a list view using tasks from any location. Then you also have a display a pie chart of your statuses using usage across location. All right, so that just means that we're looking at the work status of your tasks across various locations inside of ClickUp. Calculation, it's going to do sums, averages, and much more. Time reporting, see tasks that have been time tracked. Okay, portfolio. Okay, this is going to take everything and from the folders to the list and putting it all together. Task by assignee. So this is a flow chart. No, sorry, not a flow chart, a pie chart of the total task by assignee. That will be important to some people. They want to know who's assigned what's the percentage. That can really help you with the workload in assigning tasks. So maybe some people have more and maybe some people have less. You want to investigate what that's about. Text block, make sure you can add almost anything. Images, embed. Let's see, you can use slash commands to add context to your dashboards. All different types of really great things. Chat, that's great. It's a conversation widget. When I go into embed, looky here. YouTube, anything with a URL, Google Doc, Google Sheet, Google Slides, Figma, Twitter, InVision, Typeform, Miro. Questions so far about widgets. When you're building a dashboard, you want to then think about, and this is a part of strategy. I want you guys to think strategy. So first things first, you're definitely going to want to have a dashboard eventually, but you want to make sure you're clear on what it is that you want to see and what that dashboard is supposed to accomplish. B, you need to build your ClickUp project especially in the list view so that it can capture the right information so that you can pull it when you start setting up your dashboards. Make sense? Okay. So if you want to look at assignees, then everything is broken out, task by assignees. You can do it as a pie chart of your total task, a battery. You can do it as a bar graph, total of unassigned tasks, okay? Total assigned not completed. See how many tasks have assignees in any location. Very important. Priorities. Display the progress of your goals and your targets. Priority breakdown. So there is a custom field in ClickUp. Well, it's not necessarily custom, but it's one of the features where you can have like a priority, like red, yellow, and I think green. Okay. And then you can prioritize certain tasks. So if you have a whole lot of priorities, if you have some low, some high, it's going to show you that breakdown. Let's see. Total urgent tasks. Again, urgent, normal, low, high, no priorities. Okay. Statuses, huge, right? We're looking at number of closed tasks, tasks in progress, number of tasks completed, total time. So how much time tasks are being completed? What's the total time? All right. Sprints. We'll definitely get into that down the road, but this is for all my agile PMs. This is going to be critical. I got to do some more research on that. Tables, task list, of course, very popular. Completed report, task completed, broken down by assignee. Workspace points, sees communicating efficiently, checking their tasks, and providing the most output. Who's behind? See who's behind on notifications and overdue. See what people have worked on and determined by activity on a task. All of these things right here, these tables, the statuses, it's going to be very crucial when you're managing your team to have this information, because then you can really assess the efficiency. What are sprints? Okay, I'm gonna finish this thought and then we'll go into sprints. So when you're managing your team, you're going to want to look at, do people have too much? Do people have too little? If I have a project that's coming up, then I can see who's going to be a good fit on the project based upon the work priorities, based upon the work that's getting done or not getting done. Now, sprints in the agile world is where you actually complete a set of work within 7 to 14 days. Those are sprints. That is where, in terms of agile project management, you are looking at flexibility. You're looking more at speed and efficiency. That's what we're looking at right there. Tags. I don't use a lot of tags, but there's many people who want to use some tags. Tags display a pie chart of tags used across locations. We went through assignees. We went through custom. Okay, custom is really good. You can literally just create line charts, bar charts, pie charts, battery chart, calculation, portfolio, chat, text box from anything. Okay? I think it's wonderful. Okay, so we're going to take a featured widget, and I'm actually going to do an example. I see we got 10 minutes left on the clock. So let's get into an example of how to create a dashboard, shall we? So we're going to actually go into the task list. And this is going to be, I'm going to say this is the course content project. Course creation project. Name it. You can name it the exact thing or something else. And I'm going to go and you're going to pick it from, you can search. You have two options: search the space, the folders in the list. If you know exactly where it is, which I do, I'm going to go right into here. And I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to choose one. Some people want to choose multiple things, but I'm just going to choose one. Okay. I'm going to have it grouped by status. And I'm going to include subtasks. It says right here, subtasks and multiple lists will not be included. Okay, that is good. And you can filter if you want to only show by due date, priority, date closed, date updated. I mean, they just give you it all. You know, you can do custom fields. You can do all these things right here. There's just so much. So much. So we are going to, okay. We don't need any more of these. Okay. Obviously they have some. Okay. Add the widget. We're going to add the widget. Okay. So that's how this pops up right here. And a couple of things. I'm actually going to add a text block. And I'm going to have course ops, course project ops. And I'm actually going to pull this up here. I'm going to move this up here. All right. And I'm actually going to look at a document to embed. And what's great about ClickUp is that you can do things like / command, and you can literally just, go H2. So I'm going to go right here and put H3 and just put course management plan. And I do want to link to that doc. So hold on, let me go ahead and see how I can do that. Let's see. I can do a list in here. I can do a website link. I can embed a YouTube video. I can even post a GIF in here. You can even put table view, board view inside of here. You can have an attachment or a button. That's really cool. You could have like a button for what you want. So I like that a lot. I think, and I'm just going to actually add this right here. I'm going to change it. Of course, operations. Course operations. And I believe, hold on one second, because I want to go back into the spaces. And I actually want to grab the course. Let's see. Is it right here? Yeah. I'm going to grab the course management plan. Yes, we will grab the course management plan. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to copy the link. This is a fun thing about ClickUp. They have so many things that you can like move it to, and they have apply a template. You can attach a file if you wanted to. Like you can do all these things. So I've copied this link, and I'm actually going to go back to the dashboards right here. And we're going to go to course operations. And I am going to actually have a button. I'm going to go right here for a button and say this is a course management plan doc. I'm going to put the link right here. Make the button right here like so. I'm going to add this button. Magic. It's lovely, isn't it? So that's how you can start to put key links and key information here. I'm going to bring this up here. I'm actually going to put this right here. This is where, you can start to move around the widgets. I would say, to be honest, sometimes, especially with ClickUp in the widgets, sometimes they get a little bit tricky, right? They just get a tad bit tricky. So there's also some filtering that you could do as well. So I'm actually going to put some deadlines in here. You know what I'll do? I'm going to go back out to the app itself, and I'm actually going to put some deadlines on here. Back into list view, and I'm actually going to put this here, this right here, this right here. I'm going to move some things over. Course discovery. And I'm going to move the status into started. Okay. I'm actually going to also move this into started as well. So we have a couple things going on here. I also am going to have this complete. Resources. I'm going to also have this client meeting right here. We're going to call develop slide deck and talking points. So I'm just doing a couple of things because I want to make sure that we kind of get what we need. Because I want to update this. Okay. All right. So we'll go back to dashboards, course ops. Okay. Hold on 1 second too. Let me go back, y'all, because I want to go back, put some deadlines on a few of these things. Let's go put some deadlines. Course content review. Put this right here. Branding and strategy. I'm actually also going to put some things right here. Start date, end date. So we got a few dates in here as well. Course ops. Okay, cool. And what I want to do is I actually want to filter by due date, where the due date is the next week. Let's see what happens. And then it'll just filter by that particular point. I think, once again, this is really key. Ellen said, I need to read everything. My dashboard is looking confusing. I haven't been on ClickUp in a month. This is super cool to see this live. Absolutely, Ellen. Absolutely. We're going to pick this up next Monday as well. We're going to continue to do some cool things with dashboards. But I want to also embed some things in here. I want to embed some Google products in here as well. But this is just the beginning. And I'm going to continue next week with mastering the team communications inside of ClickUp. One of the last things that I want to do is add another widget, and I'm going to add the chat, and it's going to be team chat. And that is where you can mention some tasks and say right here, are we ready for the kickoff meeting? So good, right? What's great about this is that you're not on a Zoom call quite yet, but you're literally following up on tasks. People can reply, get back to you. If you need to talk some things over, you can very well do that. Now, this is a cool little tip and trick. Open this up. You're still in the dashboard, by the way, but you can call a meeting using Zoom on that particular task right there. So I love this because you are literally streamlining communication. Love it. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tonight for the Systems Lab Live. We'll be back on Monday and Wednesday of next week, where we will do more dashboards. We will look to embed. We will look to do some really cool things. Ellen, you know where I'm at. Hit me up and we'll talk about the contact clients through the chat too. And we will definitely look at setting up a client dashboard. I actually have one that's already set up. I'm going to copy it and then we will go over it live. Okay, very good. See you guys soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been awesome.